Hello and welcome to the webinar of What's New in Salesforce Winter 15 release. My name is Jeremy Aschenbrenner. I'm a CRM application consultant at Ledgeview Partners, and I'll be taking you through some of the new features and enhancements Salesforce has released. So before we get into all of the details, I want to kind of do an overview of the Salesforce update cycle. So Salesforce does three major releases a year. One is in the spring, another is in the summer, and the one we're going to be talking about today is the winter release. So the upgrade is no cost to end users, but there are some additional charges for some of the new features such as Live Agent and Communities. It really just depends on the size of the releases for those specific elements. Salesforce does conduct training for the new releases. Those trainings generally take about 12 hours and are spread across 3 days. What we're going to do is really try to have 30 minutes of very high-level topics of the different elements that are released and the enhancements and features that are now available to you. So some of the terminology you'll hear throughout the webinar: pilot, beta, and general release. So the pilot phase is when a feature is first introduced. Generally it's put into a pilot, and it's available for a much smaller group of users. If you would like to be part of the pilot, you have to contact Salesforce directly and opt into the pilot. The beta is the next phase after the pilot. Similarly, you have to contact Salesforce to be allowed into it, but it's more generally available to people. They allow access to a lot more organizations and users. And then general release means it's available to everybody that has the most recent update. So what's new in Winter 15? This update has spanned everything from mobile to sales, service, and into force.com. So you see enhancements everywhere, no matter which element or elements your organization uses today. So starting with the mobile enhancements, they've done a great job to streamline the setup and management of Salesforce One. They've also made it more efficient for users with the implementation of action bars, filter list views, and some enhanced search capabilities. They've redesigned the Today app to make it more useful for your mobile reps, and they've done a few changes that will have a nice impact on the analytics and reporting when looking at it from a mobile device. So starting with the Salesforce One setup and management, they've now created a Salesforce One setup page, as you can see with the link on the screenshot there. And what this does is allow you to get to a quick start wizard. So if your organization isn't using Salesforce One today, you're now able to use this quick start wizard to get it set up very quick and easy. In the past, it was kind of a pain. The options were spread all over, so this wizard really helps streamline that for you. So there's 5 steps. The first 3 steps are setting up kind of what your users have access to. So this is setting up the navigation, the action bars, and the compact layout. And really, what this is doing is just showing you with a simple drag and drop what users are going to have access to from the Salesforce One mobile app. The 4th step is just simply reviewing what you set in the first 3 steps. So you're able to see what you set and go ahead and edit right from here, just to make sure you have it all set up appropriately. The 5th and final step is sending out invites to your users. So you can do this by putting specific Salesforce users in the to line, but otherwise the nice easy way, if you just want to let your whole organization know, is simply click the Send to All Users checkbox in the upper right hand corner, and that will blast it out to all active Salesforce users. So now that you're set up with Salesforce One, they've actually made the managing of it much easier as well. So within that same Salesforce One setup page, they've now logically organized all the different elements that you can change. So everything from your security and different customization options are right there in one page. It just makes it much easier for you to manage. So the creation of action bars are extremely nice for your mobile users. So one thing that they did is the action bar is now located in the bottom of the application. As you can see in the screenshot, some of those icons. And it shows actions that are relevant based on where the user is at inside of the application. So they're able to go to, in this case, an account, and be able to see what actions they can take on that account. They can log a call, have a new task, edit the information for the account, etc. So if there's too many actions to fit on the action bar, you'll see a little ellipsis, and you can simply click that to have it expand out the actions that are available. The actions that are on the action bar, as well as the order they are in, is completely customizable through the settings. In addition to the action bars, they've created quick actions. And what this is when you're in a list view of different record types, so in this example, opportunities, and we swipe left on any one of those opportunities, we're able to see quick actions that the user can take. So this is very similar to the action bars. Clicking the ellipsis will give you a full view of all the actions that are available, and this just makes it a lot more efficient for your mobile agents. Instead of having to drill into that opportunity to log action to it, or log a task, create an event, etc., they now can actually just swipe left and create it right from the list view. Another enhancement is the addition of filter list views. So from the mobile device, you're able to click the filter icon and add custom filters based on the list you're looking at. So you're able to currently filter by date fields, text fields, and number fields. So there's some additional search capabilities that are available now as well. So in the top header of the Salesforce One application, you'll now see a little magnifying glass. That's a global search icon, and it's available no matter where you're at in the app. So by clicking that global search icon, what it's going to do is it's going to expand out a header to allow you to search for information of a specific record type. So in this example, it could be opportunities, contacts, accounts, etc. By clicking on that record type, you then see a search field that pops up. So some additional enhancements were made to the search fields as well. As the user starts tapping in their search term, it's going to give them quick results. So when they've typed in the first couple characters, it's going to give them quick results of all similar records that have been recently accessed. Again, this is trying to drive efficiency, that the rep doesn't have to type out the full search term. They're able to simply start typing it and say, yep, Dean is the one I wanted, and click on that contact. In addition, if you have typed in 3 or more characters, the quick results is going to expand to include not only what you've recently accessed, but also records that you haven't recently accessed. So the Today app's definitely got a facelift. The screenshot you see here is from a tablet, and what this allows you to do is really, as a mobile agent, be able to get a glimpse of your day right from one view. So you're able to see the weather, your schedule, upcoming tasks, any breaking news that are going on, and you're able to even customize little elements of it for some custom reporting. So in this case, opportunities by stage. We're able to have that right on the view. That must be important for this rep to be able to see and be able to take action on for that day. So getting into the analytics, there's a current feature in Salesforce One that allows for users to tap on a dashboard component, and you can see tabular and summary report views of the data. This feature has actually now been expanded to include matrix reports, which will allow you to group by 2 dimensions. In addition to the reports, a simple but really helpful addition is now on all report types. So for tabular, summary, and matrix, you actually now have a floating header. So this will allow the user to not get lost in the data and have to scroll back up the top, find their way, and see what kind of the data they're looking at. In addition to the floating headers, they've also bumped up from 500 records that you'd be able to see previously up to 2,000 records. And finally, users can now also apply field filters and scope filters to a report by tapping on the related chart. So once a section's been tapped, you can simply click the filter button and you can see the list of applied filters. So some other notable enhancements is the convert leads on the go. So your sales reps are now able to convert qualified leads into contacts and quickly create opportunities. There's a more accessible approvals list, so now you're able to see, have a view for all your pending approvals, so that way you can just more easily see what needs your approval and be able to review them. And the Salesforce events page enhancements, they did a small little change, but it'll have a pretty high impact for those of you using your events page. So in the past, it was a vertical list of records of all your different events, and you would be able to scroll through your events for that week and kind of see what's scheduled. The one problem was, if today's Monday and you want to see Friday's events, you had to scroll to try to figure out where the Friday's events started. It was a little bit of a pain for users, and it took a little bit of extra time. What they've done now is they've added a little navigation bar on the top with some buttons of Monday through Friday. And what that'll allow you to do is simply click the day that you're looking to see the events for, and it'll filter. So in this case, click Friday, and it's going to filter out and only show you events that are scheduled for that Friday. So moving away from mobile and getting into the Sales Cloud, they've made some enhancements to the territory management. They're calling it Territory Management 2.0. A well-sought-after feature is the duplicate management. They have that out in beta now. They've created some ability to create custom activity lookups, made some changes to the collaborative forecasts, and made some additional feature additions to the Microsoft Outlook toolbar. So with the Territory Management 2.0, one huge gripe that you'd hear from a lot of people that utilized it in the past is once you enabled that feature, you could not disable the territory management. So if your organization changed and went away from territories, it was stuck on within your Salesforce environment. You're now able to toggle that on and off at your will via the settings. You're also now able to create territory types. So you can really create territory types that you can measure and set to based on your business needs, and then you can assign territories to that territory type. It'll really help you control where they fit and how they all roll up together. To help with that, they allow you to model your sales territories into a logical and flexible structure with a parent-child relationship. So with doing this, you're able to set your territory types and have it drill down to that specific territory based on ultimately your territory rules. In addition, they've made a little preview. This is going to be extremely helpful for organizations that use the territory management. So now you're able to set up all your territories, all your territory types, all your rules, and they're actually able to click a preview to see what accounts would be going into those specific territories. This will really help to ensure that the changes that you're making pre-production are how you would expect before you push it in and activate those territories and rules for your organization. One other enhancement is the territory management has also improved upon its reporting. So they're able to take the territory types. You're able to, here's a custom report that we created as an example. You're able to really see, based on those territory types and those regions, where the dollar values of the revenue are coming from. So you're able to really see, okay, in the north, financial services is our biggest market. And you're able to then take action based on the data viewed in those reports. So moving on to duplicate management. As I mentioned earlier, this is something that is highly sought after by many administrators. Having duplicates in your system is extremely inefficient, and Salesforce is trying to handle that by creating the duplicate management system, and that allows you to set logic as to determining how different records are viewed as potential duplicates within the system. So you're able to set that logic up to identify those duplicates, and you're also then able to set up one of 4 ways to handle that potential duplicate. So the 4 ways they have are allow, report action, alert, and block. So allow is pretty simple. It works as it does now. It simply allows the user to create duplicates. The report action, what that does is it does the same thing as the allow. It lets them create the duplicate, so the user experience is exactly the same, but it actually sets a flag in the background that it's part of a duplicate record set. That way you can build custom reports and list views off of that and then take any necessary action. If the action is set to alert the user, it really does just that. So both on the mobile and the desktop versions, the user is alerted with some text that they could be creating a duplicate, and it gives them a list of possible matches that are already in the Salesforce system. So the user then has the ability to choose if they want to take one of those suggested options instead of creating the record, or they can actually create that new record regardless. And last but not least is you're able to set duplicates to block. So what this means is when a user puts in a potential duplicate based on the logic that you have set, it's going to say, here's some potential matches, and allow them to select it. The thing it's going to prohibit, it's not going to allow them to create the new record. So custom activity lookups are something that could be done in the past, but it was definitely not very easy, and it was pretty difficult to set up and utilize. But now you can create custom lookup fields on your activities instead of having to use the who, what fields. So the field type for the lookup relationships lets you add those lookup fields, and then what it lets you do is it actually lets you then utilize those custom fields, those custom currency fields on your opportunities, and then utilize it in your forecasting. So as you can see here, we created a custom field of annual contract value, and then we were able to use that right inside of the forecasting reports and have it appear there. So for those of you that utilize different elements, you're able to now have those custom fields added in and put into your reporting. In addition, you now are able to do splits within your forecasts. So what this is allowing you to do is on your opportunities, you can set up certain reps to get certain percentages of that opportunity value. So in this case, we have 2 reps. One rep is getting 75% of the opportunity value, and the other one is getting 25%. Salesforce automatically does the math to tell you what, based on the total opportunity value, how much each of those reps are getting. In addition, there's another setting that will allow you to go over the 100% maximum for your splits. So when this could be used is maybe you give 100% to your sales rep, but you also give 10% to a technical sales rep of that opportunity value. So there's been a few small changes to the Outlook side panel. Gives you a little bit more control. So the first thing is, in the past, you could push your attachments into Salesforce, but you had to push all attachments on that email into Salesforce. So if that specific email had 10 attachments and you really only wanted 1 or 2 of those in Salesforce, well, too bad. You had to push them all in there. Now you're able to select the attachments you want to push off the emails. So this will really help those of you that are potentially struggling with the size of the attachments and taking up your Salesforce space. Also, one thing to mention is Salesforce has recently created an alliance with Microsoft. So you can expect even more updates to be coming to the different Microsoft products and capabilities between them. So moving away from the Sales Cloud, we'll get into the Service Cloud. So there's been a ton of changes to the communities, and we'll touch on a few of the big updates there. They also completely redesigned the Salesforce console, and they tweaked the social customer service. And last but not least, they've added some additional features to the knowledge base for finding and sending articles and making that more efficient. So within communities, you now have the ability to create custom login, logout, and self-registration pages. So what this allows you to do is really brand those pages to your company, and you're now able to create those. So with the switch to communities from portals, we had lost the ability to customize that logout page. Well, that's been fixed now in this update, which is huge for a lot of companies. In addition, the self-registration and the login pages, those were always possible, but it's much easier to manage now with this enhancement. So the Community Designer was created, and now you're able to have access to 3 already created self-service community templates out of the box. So these templates are Kukua, which is more of an image-based template. It allows for knowledge and cases within there. You also have Kua, which is more text-based, so better for mobile users. Very similar to Kukua, it is available for knowledge and cases. And Napoli, which is kind of the different one. It's a little bit different of a design, is both image and textual, and the big difference there is it allows for the knowledge of the cases, but also allows for the Q&A. So by simply using one of these templates and creating your community, you're going to have a really good-looking community right off the bat. But the key thing is you need to be able to modify that. So they've created the Community Designer where you're able to go in and modify and brand for your company's color palettes, logos, etc. So this really, really helps you to make the community your own while also making it very efficient for you to create that community by utilizing the template. Some of the cool features within that designer, you're able to switch views based on if you're looking at it from a desktop or a phone or tablet. So just right from your computer, you're able to make that without having to go grab that device and log into the community. You're also able to quickly switch between your different custom pages from your website, your login, your error pages, etc. And finally, in the bottom right-hand corner, there's now a live preview. So as you're making updates and changes to your community, you're able to see that on the fly and make sure that's looking as you would expect. One of the beautiful things about utilizing templates is they're all built to be responsive based on all devices. So no matter your screen size, whether you're using a desktop, tablet, a phone, a smartwatch, it doesn't matter. That community is going to look fantastic. So some other notable community updates that I want to at least mention is with some different community licenses, you're actually now able to have external users be able to modify options on a report. So today the way it works is external users can run the report, but it's a static report and the options are hard-coded in there. They cannot make changes to filter that data. With those additional licenses, now you can allow external users to make those options and be able to adjust those options to see the data that they're really looking for. There also has been some reputation enhancements, which allows you to configure reputation points for questions and answers within the feed. You can also customize reputation levels and view feed notifications for reputation level increases. So you're able to see that right inside the feed. They've also created a flag posts feed, and what this allows you to do is more easily moderate those posts that were flagged as inappropriate by the community, and then you can take necessary action from there. So just tries to put it all in one place for you. And last but not least is the HTML caching. In layman's terms, what this does is it just makes the performance of your community much better as it caches off pieces of the code from the community on the device that you looked at it with. So moving over to the knowledge base, there's a couple enhancements that we're going to touch on here, and the first one is in regards to the article search. So there's 2 changes. One, when you do a search term and it's pulling up your search results, it actually highlights your search term within those results. That just really helps you be able to know why that result is coming up based on the term that you would put in. And this is really similar to your normal desktop search engines. In addition, knowledge managers are now able to promote search results, promote articles based on search results that are entered. So if there's a specific article that wants to be floated to the top, that users should be looking at that first when they do a search for a certain search term, that can all be set up. when they type in that search term, that article is going to float right to the top, and that'll be the one that they utilize. So the article over email is something that's always been there. You've always been able to send links and attachments of the article to your customers to give them view to it. But a lot of customers were complaining about having to download an attachment or click on a link where they may not completely trust the source. And so now you're actually able to, as a pilot, be able to put the body of the email, the article into the body of the email as text. So when they get the email, they simply open it up and they can see the article details below. The Salesforce console's got a complete revamp, so they've done a lot with this. The user interface has improved a ton, not only in the look, but they've also made much better use of the real estate by compacting certain areas. So it just looks more modern and looks much more slick, and it's going to be much more efficient for the users of the Service Console. In addition, they've also allowed for inline editing from the console itself. So, for example, if you find out there's some information for a contact that's incorrect, you can simply click into the line for the contact right from the console, make the update without having to drill into the contact itself. So it just makes it much more efficient for your users to manage the data. So the social service pilot, what this is you've always had the ability to connect different social media accounts to your Salesforce, but you had to have a separate Radian 6 contract to do so. They now have a pilot that actually will allow you to connect Facebook and Twitter to your Salesforce without having that separate contract. So definitely useful. It is in pilot, so there is one huge caveat in that the pilot doesn't currently support the moderation feature. So what that means is that all posts made on those social sites will become cases within Salesforce. So definitely keep that in mind if the pilot is something that you're looking to sign up for. So moving over to the last bucket of enhancements, and that's on Force.com. So Salesforce has really been slowly releasing pieces of their Lightning platform, so we'll make sure we touch on a few of those additions and features, such as Lightning Components, the Lightning App Builder, Connect, and Process Builder. And we'll also talk about some of the security options that have been added to give you a little bit more control of your security and security elements within your setup. And then finally, touch on some of the custom login processes and two-factor authentication that can now be done. So starting with Lightning Components. So Lightning Components are reusable sections of the user interface, and that can range from a single line of code to an entire application. And really the goal is these components, they interact with each other by firing events, and it allows you to build these components once and reuse them in different applications and different elements. So it allows you out of the box to just be much faster and more efficient within your development. App Builder is really what the components are used to create the app. So you're able to create applications by dragging and dropping components that were created into the application. So you're able to then more quickly design and build apps for your organization and really make it look the way you want and design it how you want. The Lightning Connect is something that was available previous in Salesforce, got rebranded to be Lightning Connect. And what this allows you to do is allows your users the ability to view and search records that are outside of Salesforce. So in this example, all the data up in the top with the details and the accounts, that's all data that resides in Salesforce. The sales order is actually something that resides in an outside database. We're able to pull that data in, read-only, and be able to show that to the rep to give them all of the data they need to make that activity, that contact, and be able to view it from Salesforce, from one place. So you're able to kind of utilize that to incorporate data from legacy systems. Finally, the last piece of Lightning is the process builder. So now you're able to more easily automate complex business processes with some simple point-and-click tools. So it definitely makes it a lot easier. You can automatically update or create new records. You can send emails. You can create tasks. And it just really allows you to do a lot more than what you were able to do in the past. Also, it makes it much more visual. So you're able to kind of visualize that entire process and then just deploy it once across all of your devices. Security, what they've done here is they've really opened up the ability for organizations to control their own security. So they've given you a lot of different configuration ability within when your passwords expire, how many the complexity requirements for those passwords, how many login attempts you can utilize, etc. So you're able to have much finer control of those details and set it up how your organization needs. In addition, you can now create custom login flows within Salesforce. So this will allow you to do two-factor authentication, which could be that you log into Salesforce with your username and your password, but you also get a text message with a code, and you have to put that in for the login to actually be successful. So it just really gives you control of your security and allows you to customize that login process as you see fit. So to get more information about the release, you can go to salesforce.com. They have tons of details, hundreds of pages of notes of the different elements of that release. And a shameless plug for Ledgeview, please follow us on Twitter, check us out on LinkedIn and Facebook, and definitely view our blog to get all up-to-date information for Salesforce enhancements in the future. I thank you very much, and I hope you enjoyed the webinar. Have a great day.